Welcome the dearly beloved anointed ones. Stop scrolling immediately. I am not asking for your attention today. I am commanding it. Do not move past this message. The algorithm absolutely did not bring you here. This is a strict divine alignment. Heaven intercepted your feed at this exact second. If you swipe away now, you are actively choosing to sever the exact timeline prepared for you. The enemy is screaming at you to leave. He wants you distracted. He knows this next revelation will permanently destroy his access to your life. Lock your attention on my voice right now. Someone who treated you as completely replaceable is currently experiencing a massive internal system crash. It is not happening quietly. It is a public and irreversible collapse. You know exactly who I am talking about. Those fake friends who threw you under the bus. They walked around with absolute arrogance for years, constructing a completely false narrative about you and whispering venomous lies to anyone who would listen. They expected your departure to break your spirit. They waited with bated breath for you to fail. But you became the one uncertainty they were never built to handle. You were supposed to be the casualty of their toxic matrix, but instead of breaking down, you walked out of their dark room and became the absolute sun. And now the very people they used to gossip with are watching them unravel. Their mask did not just slip today, it completely shattered. Buckle in, chosen one. What you are about to hear is not just commentary. It is a specific and undeniable X-ray of the meltdown happening behind closed doors right now. The universe is actively executing a divine verdict on your behalf, and you did not even have to lift a single finger to make it happen. Your restraint was not a sign of weakness. Your silence was a lethal weapon. They expected you to fight back. They wanted you to argue. They desperately needed you to defend yourself so they could feed on your frantic reaction. But you gave them absolutely nothing. You starved their demons with your heavy silence. And that single act of choosing your dignity over your revenge handed the verdict to a court they can never appeal. Do not leave this transmission before the end. If you walk away now, you will forfeit the exact prophetic instruction that guarantees your breakthrough. You have been waiting in wound for an apology that will never come. Stop waiting. The universe is not going to give you a fake apology from broken people. It is going to give you complete and absolute vindication. They are literally making noise about you right now. Nobody has ever seen them act like this before. They are spiraling out of control, and the people who once blindly believed their lies are quietly starting to back away. The specific gravity of their profound regret is hitting them all at once. They threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held. They traded you for cheap rocks. And now they are bleeding from the sharp edges of those very same rocks. You were never the anomaly in their otherwise healthy life. You were the mirror. You reflected the deep rot they spent their entire existence trying to hide. The reaction got this loud because you got closer to their truth than anyone else ever had. Your light exposed the absolute emptiness of their souls. They tried to dim your shine by pushing you out of the circle. They coordinated their betrayal with mathematical precision because they genuinely thought there is safety in numbers. They believed that if enough people agreed on the lie, it would magically become the truth. But heaven does not vote on reality. The spiritual cost of their betrayal was compounding every single day. While they were busy celebrating your exile, the universe was quietly building your permanent throne. You felt the sting of their rejection. You cried silent tears in the dark. You wondered why your pure intentions were met with such vicious cruelty. But your isolation was not a punishment. Your temporary isolation was a divine protection protocol. The universe had to pull you out of that contaminated environment before it destroyed you. You are a cycle breaker. You carry a specific and irreplaceable gravity that shifts atmospheres. They were feeding off your pure energy like starving parasites. They used you as a human battery to power their extremely shallow lives. Once your cord was cut, their artificial lights went completely dark. Now they are drowning in the deafening noise of their own making. They are frantically searching for a replacement for you, but they are realizing with sheer panic that your specific depth is utterly unreplicable and no one else will ever tolerate their toxicity the way you did. This is the moment the timeline splits forever. You are standing at the exact threshold of a massive, energetic shift. Everything they tried to steal from you is being multiplied and returned. But you must hold your position. Stay locked into this frequency to receive the exact blueprint of their final downfall. Let us go deeper now. There is a physical reason you have been feeling that heavy weight this week. You wake up at exactly 3 in the morning with a completely tight jaw, and your chest feels incredibly suffocated. And there is a burning lump sitting right in the middle of your throat. You keep swallowing it down every single time their names cross your mind. Stop swallowing it today. Listen to me very carefully right now. That is not anxiety. You are not going crazy. And you absolutely do not need therapy to fix this, because that physical weight you feel is your highly advanced spirit detecting the absolute panic of your enemies. They just realized they permanently lost access to you. They are literally starving for your energy right now. The spiritual backlash of their sudden starvation is hitting your body. You were the stabilizer of that entire group. You were the one carrying their heavy emotional weight. They used your pure heart as an endless human battery, and every time they felt empty, they shamelessly plugged into your light. They drained your joy to artificially inflate their own shallow existence. And then they threw you under the bus. They betrayed you with a smile on their faces. They orchestrated a ruthless campaign to make you look like the villain. They twisted your words and weaponized your pure intentions against you, while they expected you to grovel and beg for your spot back in their toxic circle. But you chose to walk away in total silence. I know exactly how much that betrayal hurt you. You gave them nothing but pure loyalty. You defended their names in rooms where they were not even present. You poured your precious energy into people who were completely bankrupt inside, and when you needed them the most, they turned their backs on you. They left you bleeding in the dark. You felt completely alone. You wondered if there was something fundamentally wrong with you, but your only mistake was being too blindingly pure for a group of parasitic souls. They did not attack you because you were weak. They attacked you because you carry a massive spiritual authority that terrified them, and your brilliant light exposed their hidden shadows. Read that again in your spirit. Pay close attention to this next part. The enemy desperately tried to hide this specific truth from you. They needed you to feel small. They needed you to doubt your own sanity, because a chosen one who knows their true power is the most dangerous force in the entire universe. They were terrified you would finally wake up. The extreme exhaustion you feel right now is not a permanent state. It is a severe spiritual detox. Your body is forcefully purging the toxic residue they left behind in your nervous system. Every headache and every wave of brain fog is the physical manifestation of breaking their heavy chains. You are finally unplugging from their artificial matrix. While you are healing in private, they are slowly falling apart. They thought life without you would be a constant celebration. They thought they had finally eliminated the only person who could see through their masks. But now they are left with each other, and a group of energy vampires with no human battery left will always begin to feed on themselves. You have been sitting in the dark waiting for a resolution. You wanted them to admit what they did. You wanted them to see the profound damage they caused to your gentle heart. But a master manipulator will never offer you genuine closure, and they will only offer you more deep confusion. Heaven removed them from your life to strictly protect your incoming harvest. Your profound silence is deafening to them right now. They keep checking on you. They monitor your energy from a distance. They desperately want to see you bitter and broken, but instead they see you stepping into an untouchable, ageless glow. You are not carrying the heavy bitterness they expected. You dropped their toxic bags and kept walking forward. If this is resonating with your cellular knowing, do not move. This is exactly where their entire manipulation fundamentally miscalculated. They assumed you were just an ordinary person they could easily discard. They completely forgot that you are a powerful cycle breaker, and you carry the sacred bloodline of ancient warriors. You were forged in divine fires. Those fake friends are suddenly realizing they made a fatal error. The universe is actively removing the protective barrier around them. They are completely exposed. The success they thought they had was actually just the overflow of your abundant aura, and now that you are gone, their lives are rapidly drying up. The divine alignment is shifting heavily in your favor today. You did not lose a single thing when they walked away. You gained your absolute freedom. The heavy weight in your chest is finally lifting. You survived the lowest point of their ruthless betrayal, and now you get to watch from a safe distance as the universe balances the scales. Stay with me, because the reality of their current situation is worse than you think. Here is what they never told you about your extreme exhaustion. The reason the universe seems to respond to certain people effortlessly is not blind faith. It is not rigid discipline. It is definitely not a random alignment of stars. It is a specific brainwave. Scientists actually have a secret name for it. They call it gamma. And it is the exact frequency your brain was running naturally when you were just a child. Back then, ideas came easily to you. Learning felt completely effortless. You somehow knew things before they even happened. The world felt like it was entirely on your side. Then adulthood aggressively arrived, and the modern matrix went to work on your spirit. The chronic stress, the glowing screens, the brutal school systems that trained you to blindly conform instead of powerfully create. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further, pushed deeper below the surface by the constant drama from those toxic friends, until the version of you with lightning intuition went completely silent. When gamma fades, your natural genius fades right along with it. The daily synchronicities completely stop, and that beautiful sense that the universe is protecting your every step goes totally dark. Most people will live their entire lives without knowing this happened to them. They will accept the struggle. They will think the heavy brain fog is a normal part of getting older. You are not most people. You felt that massive blockage in your finances and your relationships. You knew deep down you carry a much higher potential than you currently express. They stole your frequency without your consent. But here is the raw truth they could never say out loud. Let me completely reframe your reality right now. You did not lose the battle when they walked away. You probably did not realize it at the time, but your silence was a lethal weapon. They expected your departure to permanently destroy you. They waited for you to come crawling back in tears. Instead, you gave them absolutely nothing. Your profound silence is the most violent sound they have ever heard. A master manipulator survives entirely on your emotional reaction. They need your anger. They desperately need your frantic attempts to defend your good name. When you cut the cord and walked away in silence, you instantly cut off their energetic oxygen. You starved them into absolute panic. This brings us to a critical distinction that eludes the vast majority of people. Those fake friends built a massive illusion of control. They strutted around projecting fake happiness to the world. They posted pictures smiling with the very flying monkeys who helped them betray you. But a dark illusion requires constant maintenance, and their fragile matrix is finally starting to crack. Underneath all of that loud noise, they are deeply terrified. They wake up with the same heavy anxiety they tried to project onto you. They check their phones, hoping you finally reacted to their smear campaign, but they find nothing but your cold and heavy silence. Your refusal to play their twisted game is driving them completely insane. You took back your power. Let me be very clear about your current season. You are not missing out on anything. They are the ones who lost a rare diamond while playing with cheap, dirty rocks. The very people they gossiped with are now secretly questioning their erratic behavior. The flying monkeys are starting to notice the ugly cracks in the mask. The toxic foundation they built their entire reality upon is beginning to sink. Listen closely, because this is the exact part the enemy tried to hide from you. The dynamic has fundamentally shifted. You are no longer the wounded empath waiting for an apology. You have completely transcended their low vibrations, and you are stepping right into your permanent, untouchable power. Every single day you remain silent, they lose another piece of their fake kingdom. While they are busy trying to replace you, heaven is actively restoring your stolen energy. You are starting to age backwards. The heavy exhaustion is leaving your physical body. You are regaining that brilliant, ageless glow that always made them so incredibly jealous. They can literally feel your energy returning from miles away, and it makes them absolutely sick. They thought they threw you under the bus, but they actually threw you directly into your divine formation season. The universe used their vicious betrayal to forcefully separate you from their dead weight. You were meant to fly high above their petty drama. You are a demonstrated warrior of light, and heaven is about to make your victory so loud that your enemies will be forced to watch it unfold. Read that again in your spirit. The universe is intentionally delaying their punishment just to make it more public. They think they got away with their wicked lies. They think the storm has safely passed, but heaven was just gathering the heavy clouds to pour down on them. The divine justice is mathematically precise, and when it finally strikes, it will completely dismantle their fake reality. Heaven is now releasing 3 specific illusions your enemies desperately believed. These are the exact psychological lies they used to maintain their false reality. They built an entire kingdom on these 3 fragile delusions, and the third illusion is the most devastating of them all, because it exposes the terrifying spiritual consequence of touching a true chosen one. Do not leave before you hear the third one. Their entire existence operates on a suppressed, synchronized coherence. This simply means they cannot process reality without draining an energetic host. They constructed a localized matrix programming just to feed on your brilliant light. And within that extremely toxic matrix, they convinced themselves of 3 massive lies while expecting you to remain completely blind to their manipulative tactics. The universe is actively shattering every single one of them right now. The first illusion is that they genuinely thought you needed them. They looked at your kindness and falsely diagnosed it as weakness. They confused your pure empathy with a desperate need for their validation. They believed that cutting you off would send you into a complete somatic tailspin where you would eventually crawl back, begging for their toxic attention. They desperately wanted you to feel broken and alone. But the raw and uncomfortable truth is completely inverted. You were never dependent on their chaotic energy. You were the stabilizer of their entirely erratic frequency. You were the only thing keeping their fragile timeline from a catastrophic collapse. And when they finally pushed you away, they essentially unplugged their own life support machine without realizing the profound damage they caused to themselves. Their spiritual ignorance is utterly and completely profound. Type 777 in the comments right now. Do this to physically claim your incoming miracle and lock in your high frequency. You must anchor this truth into your cellular knowing before we move forward. They thought they were the main characters in your story, but they were just temporary spiritual assignments designed to test your ultimate boundaries and teach you the true value of your own limitless energy. You easily passed their malicious test with absolute grace. The second illusion is the most pathetic one they constructed. They genuinely believed their coordinated smear campaign would destroy your reputation permanently. They gathered their flying monkeys and painted you as the absolute villain. They thought if they whispered enough vicious lies, the universe would somehow rewrite the truth to fit their incredibly twisted and entirely fabricated narrative. They literally and foolishly tried to play God with your life. But a lie requires constant energetic maintenance to survive in reality, and their localized matrix is currently suffering from a massive cognitive overload. They are completely exhausted from keeping their fake stories straight. The very people they manipulated are starting to notice the glaring holes in their twisted narratives, while the spiritual atmospheric pressure continues to crush their fragile egos. Their artificial walls are rapidly closing in on them. Your silence weaponized their own gossip against them. Because you did not react, they had no fresh fuel to keep the fire burning. The second illusion is crumbling in front of their very eyes. They thought they were isolating you in the dark, but the universe was actually isolating them in a permanent prison built entirely from their own lies and fueled by their own deep insecurities. They are completely trapped inside their own toxic maze. Listen to me very closely, because most people miss this massive shift. The timeline bifurcation is happening at this exact second. You are rising into an ageless glow while they are sinking into spiritual rot. The cognitive dissonance in their brains is manifesting as physical decay because their bodies can no longer handle the massive spiritual debt they accumulated by betraying you. They are physically aging like sour milk left in the sun. They watch you from fake accounts and burn with agonizing envy. They cannot comprehend the quantum shift you just executed. You look happier and lighter and completely unbothered by their childish games. They desperately wanted to see your spirit entirely destroyed, but they are forced to watch you step into an era of untouchable divine authority, while their own lives slowly unravel in front of everyone they know. Your silent victory has become their daily psychological torture. This brings us to the third and final illusion. This is the exact miscalculation that signed their eviction notice from your timeline. They actually believed there would be no spiritual consequences for touching a chosen one. They thought the universe was completely blind to their vicious cruelty. They arrogantly assumed they could throw you away without ever paying a cosmic price for their wicked actions against your entirely pure and gentle heart. They were completely and absolutely dead wrong about everything. Heaven keeps a meticulous record of every single tear you cried. The divine justice system does not operate on their manipulated schedule. The third illusion is shattering with mathematical precision right now. The universe is executing a permanent cellular reset on their reality, and everything they thought they gained by betraying your pure heart is rapidly turning into absolute ashes in the palms of their greedy hands. They currently have absolutely nowhere left to hide or run. They thought they were dealing with someone trapped in the Matrix programming. They forgot you are a cycle breaker with an ancient spiritual bloodline. You carry a specific gravity that actively bends time around you. The universe is dismantling their entire life because they dared to touch one of its rare diamonds and treat it like a worthless piece of cheap glass. You have silently won this war completely and utterly invisible. Let this profound truth settle deep into your spirit. You are one of the rare two meant to hear this specific confirmation today. But there is a physical reason your reality has not completely shifted yet. The enemy tried to hide this next classified revelation from you. Stay with me, because science just uncovered exactly why you feel so drained and how they successfully suppressed your natural frequency for so many years. Do not look away from this message right now. Before we go any further, I must interrupt this transmission for something highly classified. The Dark Elite never wanted you to find the exact mechanism I am about to show you. You are exhausted because the Matrix engineered a specific frequency to suppress your natural wealth-attracting state. They intentionally targeted your gamma brainwave to keep you completely drained and entirely compliant. But a recently leaked CIA document backed by 4 neuroscience labs just changed everything. They revealed a highly protected 7-second audio ritual that forces your brain back into synchronized gamma coherence. You do not need expensive clinical biofeedback machines. You do not need years of traditional spiritual healing. You just need to listen and let the frequency do the heavy lifting. This specific protocol was not meant for the masses, and it was originally designed to keep the elite in power while keeping cycle breakers like you completely exhausted. But now the remnant is using it to manifest windfall wealth and shatter generational curses. The elites are panicking and actively trying to scrub this leaked document from the internet as we speak. They are terrified of your true potential. The Matrix is flooding the internet with dangerous counterfeit frequencies right now. Do not trust the diluted imitations scattered across streaming platforms. Protect your spiritual alignment by strictly using the verified link in the pinned comment below. Click that specific link right now before access is revoked forever. Reclaim your gamma frequency and watch the universe completely open up. Now I need you to imagine the exact scenario happening behind their closed doors right now. The people who helped them betray you are slowly starting to wake up. Those loyal flying monkeys who blindly carried out their vicious smear campaign are finally seeing the cracks in the mask. The heavy silence you left behind is forcing them to look closely at the monster they actually protected. The fake friends are completely running out of borrowed energy. Without your pure light to feed on, the narcissist is becoming incredibly erratic and completely unhinged. They are snapping at the very people who stood by their side during your exile. The flying monkeys are suddenly realizing that the toxic stories they were told about you were entirely fabricated. The heavy guilt is finally setting in. There is a massive panic quietly spreading through their toxic group. The narcissist cannot maintain the fake happy facade without your constant emotional subsidies. The flying monkeys are watching their beloved leader spiral into absolute madness, and they are desperately trying to distance themselves from the sinking ship they helped to actually build. The illusion is breaking down entirely. When a group of energy vampires loses their main host, they immediately start turning on each other. The flying monkeys are realizing they are the next targets on the chopping block. The narcissist desperately needs a new victim to drain, and the very people who helped destroy your reputation are now terrified of receiving the exact same treatment. The loyalty among thieves is completely and utterly shattered. The master manipulator is frantically trying to regain control of the narrative. They are throwing lavish parties and posting fake smiles to desperately prove they are perfectly fine, but nobody is buying the cheap illusion anymore. The room feels completely dead without your vibrant energy. The flying monkeys are physically exhausted from pretending everything is perfectly normal. It is all falling apart. Those enablers are now experiencing the exact same heavy brain fog they once mocked you for. They are waking up at 3 in the morning with tight jaws and suffocated chests. The spiritual backlash they thought they escaped is hitting them with mathematical precision. Heaven is forcing them to carry the heavy bags of toxic energy they eagerly helped pack for you. They are drowning in deep regret. You do not have to lift a single finger to defend your honor. The universe is using the narcissist to actively punish the flying monkeys. They are trapped in a localized matrix of their own making, and the walls are rapidly closing in on their entirely fake reality. Your profound silence was the exact catalyst that triggered this entire internal collapse. You are the untouchable sun they cannot reach. The pressure inside their circle is reaching a critical breaking point. The narcissist knows they are losing their grip on the flying monkeys. They are making desperate mistakes and leaving incredibly obvious trails of lies. The flying monkeys are secretly collecting evidence against the very person they once blindly worshipped. A massive and violent internal explosion is completely unavoidable. This is exactly what happens when you build a kingdom on a foundation of vicious lies. The spiritual debt comes due all at once. They thought you were completely defeated and permanently erased from their story. But your invisible presence is haunting every single room they walk into, and they cannot escape the agonizing memory of the rare diamond they foolishly threw away. The final reckoning is here. The atmospheric pressure inside their toxic circle is currently suffocating. They are running entirely on the toxic fumes of their own bitter jealousy. The mask is melting right off their faces. Without your brilliant light to constantly absorb their heavy negativity, they are left choking on the exact same poison they tried to force-feed you. The dynamic has completely and utterly fractured. The master manipulator is desperately trying to hold the group together. They organize fake gatherings just to prove they are perfectly fine, but the room always feels incredibly cold and completely dead. The flying monkeys sit there staring at each other with deep suspicion because they suddenly realize they are all swimming in a tank full of starving sharks. There is absolutely zero loyalty left among them. Now they are actively turning on each other with brutal precision. The narcissist is projecting their massive insecurities onto the flying monkeys. They brutally snap over the absolute smallest inconveniences. The enablers who once blindly helped destroy your reputation are now receiving the exact same psychological abuse they eagerly cheered for when it was directed at you. It is a magnificent divine reckoning. Paranoia is spreading through their ranks like an aggressive virus. They secretly monitor each other's movements in absolute fear. They constantly wonder who is going to betray them next. Heaven orchestrated this profound confusion to ensure they tear their own fake kingdom apart stone by stone while you watch safely from a massive distance. They are literally doing the heavy work for you. Every single time they fight, your name is silently brought up. They remember the profound peace you brought to their chaotic lives. They remember how you constantly swallowed their disrespect to keep the peace. But a true cycle breaker like you can only carry the heavy burdens of broken people for so long before the universe completely cuts the cord. You are completely and totally untouchable now. The internal explosions are happening daily behind their closed doors. The flying monkeys are secretly plotting their own desperate escapes. They whisper to each other about the narcissist's entirely erratic behavior. They are finally tasting the bitter reality of being completely drained by an energy vampire, and they are completely terrified of what is coming for them next. Their fake reality is rapidly collapsing. Read that again in your spirit right now. Pay extremely close attention to this next critical shift. The enemy desperately tried to hide this exact mechanism from you. They wanted you to think their group was impenetrable, but they were actually entirely dependent on your pure aura to act as the spiritual glue holding them together. Without you, they are completely falling apart. The master manipulator is literally running out of time. Their frantic attempts to secure a new human battery are completely failing. People can smell the deep rot emanating from their hollow souls. The universe put a massive energetic warning label on their foreheads, and anyone who comes near them immediately feels the heavy toxicity and walks entirely away. They are entirely and permanently isolated. The tension inside their circle is stretched to the absolute limit. It is a giant balloon of pure toxicity waiting for a tiny pin. The flying monkeys are physically exhausted from pretending to be happy. The moment of their ultimate destruction is approaching with terrifying speed, and the narcissist knows there is absolutely nothing they can do to stop the incoming avalanche. They are completely trapped in their own matrix. The boiling water is spilling over the edges of their fake kingdom. The master manipulator is about to make one final fatal mistake. They are going to push one of their loyal flying monkeys entirely too far. And when that heavily abused enabler finally snaps, the entire toxic group is going to implode with a violent force that will leave them completely speechless. It is a masterpiece of divine justice. Now I need you to imagine this exact scenario clearly in your spirit. The pressure is too much for their fragile egos to physically handle. The lies they carefully built are crushing them under their massive weight. They are dragging each other down into the absolute mud, while your frequency continues to rise higher into a realm they can never, ever hope to access. You are the untouchable diamond they lost forever. Stay locked in, because the tipping point has finally been reached. The spiritual dam they built to hold back the truth just completely broke. The chaotic waters of their own making are actively drowning them right now. This is exactly where the narrative takes a terrifying and permanent turn for those who boldly dared to betray a deeply anointed warrior of the light. The ultimate public collapse is happening right now. And here is the exact verdict heaven promised you at the very beginning. That public collapse you were waiting for just finally happened, and it exploded right in front of the exact people they used to gossip with. It did not happen quietly in the shadows. Their entire fake reality shattered into a million pieces. The reckoning is absolutely magnificent. They were sitting in a crowded room, desperately trying to project their fake happiness. The master manipulator was telling another twisted story to make themselves look like the ultimate victim. But this time, the flying monkeys did not blindly nod in agreement, because the heavy silence in the room suddenly became incredibly suffocating. Someone finally pushed back. One of their most loyal enablers suddenly stopped the conversation cold. They looked the narcissist dead in the eyes and asked a single piercing question about your sudden departure. The master manipulator completely froze. They tried to quickly pivot the narrative, but their brain experienced a massive cognitive overload, and the lies finally caught up. The narcissist began to stutter and frantically backtrack on their own fabricated timeline. They were sweating profusely while desperately searching the room for a single ounce of validation, but they found absolutely nothing except cold and piercing stares. The flying monkeys were finally seeing the horrifying monster hiding behind the fragile mask. And then the ultimate breaking point arrived with a violent crash. The master manipulator slammed their fists incredibly hard on the table in front of everyone. They completely lost control of their carefully crafted emotions. They screamed in absolute frustration because the heavy weight of their own spiritual debt was physically crushing them. In a moment of pure, unhinged panic, they accidentally blurted out the raw truth. They frantically admitted that they pushed you away because they were utterly terrified of your brilliant light. They screamed that you were always right about their toxic behavior, and they could not handle the heavy conviction your presence brought into their dark lives. The entire room went completely dead silent. The flying monkeys sat there in absolute horror as the narcissist publicly destroyed their own fake kingdom. Every single vicious lie they ever told about you was instantly invalidated by their own unhinged confession, and the universe forced them to clear your good name without you even being in the room. The people who once eagerly helped destroy your reputation are now deeply disgusted by the leader they blindly followed. They immediately started packing up their things to walk away. The narcissist was left sitting completely alone in the rubble of their own making. Their public humiliation is completely irreversible and absolutely permanent. This is the magnificent vindication heaven prepared for you. You never had to lower your high frequency to fight them in the mud. You never had to exhaust your precious energy trying to prove your absolute innocence to deeply committed fools. Your profound silence forced the universe to step in, and heaven executed a flawless verdict on your direct behalf. They wanted you buried deep in the dirt, but they actually became the shovel that dug up your greatest treasure. Every single time your name is mentioned in that room, it hits them with the agonizing weight of their fatal mistake. They threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held just to play with cheap and dirty rocks. They are utterly destroyed. While they are publicly unraveling, you are stepping into a permanent, ageless glow. Your spiritual frequency is vibrating at a level they can never even comprehend. You walked out of their toxic matrix and completely bent time to your own powerful will. And you are not just surviving their vicious storm anymore because you literally became the glowing sun. The heavy chains they tried to place on your destiny are permanently broken. The universe completely isolated them in a prison built from their own malicious actions. You are the ultimate cycle breaker, and your spiritual authority is now entirely unquestionable because the final gavel has violently dropped in your favor. The flying monkeys are now desperately trying to reach out to you. They are sending completely pathetic messages, hoping to apologize for their blind loyalty to the narcissist, and they desperately want you to absolve them of their heavy spiritual guilt. But you owe them absolutely nothing. They chose the dark side, and they must feast on the bitter consequences alone. The master manipulator will never recover from this massive public exposure. Their reputation is completely scorched earth. They can no longer move to a new group and run the exact same toxic playbook because the universe branded them with a permanent, energetic warning. Everyone can immediately sense their deep rot from a million miles away. You are completely untouched by their heavy chaos. The profound peace you feel right now is the ultimate reward for your incredible restraint. You successfully starved their demons and protected your sacred energy, while the divine justice system performed a flawless execution of karma on your behalf. You walked into this season completely bleeding from heavy wounds inflicted by people blind to your true worth. They tried to dim your shine because they were deeply terrified of your radiant light, but look at you now. You are no longer waiting in wound for a fake apology from a master manipulator. You have completely transcended their highly toxic matrix. While they are publicly unraveling, you are stepping into your permanent and untouchable, ageless glow. The financial struggles and the spiritual exhaustion they projected onto you are all shattering right here and right now. You survived the brutal fire and came out glowing like you cracked a sacred code they will never ever access. Step into your absolute power today. You must boldly receive the exact massive harvest heaven prepared specifically for you. Do not shrink back. But there is a specific reason your ultimate breakthrough has been sitting at the door without coming in. It is not what the corrupt world desperately told you. It is absolutely not a lack of faith or a personal character flaw. It is a specific physical signal, a vital brainwave frequency that your brain was running effortlessly as a young child has been systematically suppressed. The dark elite carefully engineered the modern world to keep your gamma frequency completely dormant. They desperately want you exhausted and financially trapped, so you can never challenge their artificial authority. The Matrix programmed your daily survival routine to slowly drain your natural genius. They wanted you to completely forget who you truly are. But a recently leaked CIA document backed by top researchers just exposed their massive secret to the world. After years of quiet research, a dedicated team of brilliant neuroscientists compressed an entire gamma activation protocol into a simple 7-minute audio track. You do not need expensive biofeedback machines. You do not need years of incredibly intense meditation. There is absolutely no mantra and no physical effort required from you. You simply close your tired eyes and put on a pair of headphones. You let the powerful sound wave do what the modern world spent decades undoing in your tired mind. Columbia University even discovered that a strong gamma signal actually radiates outward to magically protect your family. This suppressed technology is called the Genius Song. Over 18,000 chosen ones have already used it to quickly unlock their finances. They permanently healed their broken relationships. A nurse from California said her life now feels completely enchanted after years of deep struggle. A business owner from Texas said Gamma simply figures out his hardest problems while he sleeps. This is not just about financial overflow. It is about a permanent transformation of your entire daily reality. Your deep intuition will become incredibly sharp, and those sudden eureka moments will happen effortlessly. You will step into a continuous flow state where the universe actively clears every single obstacle out of your path. You will finally feel heaven working directly with you. A powerful cycle breaker from Manhattan said the generational curse her family carried for decades is simply gone forever. But the corrupt elite are absolutely terrified of this profound spiritual awakening. They are actively trying to scrub this leaked document from the internet as we speak. You have minutes or maybe seconds before the algorithm shuts this down. Do not look for this track on public streaming platforms because the copies circulating there are completely fake. Those diluted counterfeits contain zero brain entrainment technology. They are specifically designed to keep your gamma entirely dormant. The Matrix wants you deeply confused by cheap copies to steal your precious energy. Protect your aura today. Those in power secretly pay thousands of dollars for clinical sessions to access what this track delivers in just 7 minutes, but you can access it today for a tiny fraction of its true value. You must use the securely protected link in the description and the pinned comment below. The true authentic breakthrough is waiting exclusively for you. 4 extremely powerful bonuses are waiting for you inside, including a specific track engineered for the confidence of your children. You are also fully protected by a zero-risk divine guarantee. If your reality does not massively shift, your seed is completely restored without a single question. This is a pure energetic exchange governed by absolute divine trust. Your left brain will try to inject doubt right now and tell you to hesitate. Silence that matrix programming immediately. The chosen one who hesitates at the threshold becomes the chosen one who always wonders what could have been. Claim your copy of the Genius Song right now. Click the specific link in the pinned comment below. Your massive destiny is waiting to be unlocked.